your next comedian. He's been shaking up the comedy scene since November. Please welcome Glenn Lurie.
Good evening. What's shaking, everybody? Me when I don't take my Parkinson's medication. I'm living with Parkinson's, and this is a big deal for me to come up and do stand-up. It was one of my bucket list items, and I take it all in stride. Parkinson's is something that afflicts over 1 million people in the United States. And I've got myself a real good support network where we get together for our monthly meeting. We start off with a secret handshake. Things about Parkinson's people you need to know about. We like our martinis stirred, not shaken. Our favorite Grateful Dead album is Shakedown Street. Our pharmacists are all bastards because we know they're laughing behind our backs when they do our prescription and childproof safety caps. Weightlifters who do, with Parkinson's, do power shakes. We like our wine glasses half filled because we spill less that way. And we know that when we've been drinking, we shouldn't wear button-fly pants. Now, what I've done to help make my Parkinson's friends feel a little bit more comfortable is I've started a Parkinson's game night. The first one started 3 weeks ago. We played Jenga, Operation, and Pick Up Sticks. The game is still going on right now. I'm also starting a Parkinson's movie night. The first movie we're going to watch is Tremors. I got a job finally. Finding work with Parkinson's is really challenging. So I looked and looked and looked and finally found the right job at a dog kennel. I'm teaching dogs how to shake hands. So, okay, that one needs work. I was diagnosed in 2013 with Parkinson's when I was living in the greater San Francisco Bay Area. And the first thing I did was join the support network that was funded by a cannabis club. And the cannabis club took real good care of us. We would meet once a month for breakfast. And the name of our group was to Wake, Shake, and Bake. They would have us over for potluck dinners once a month where they would serve pot roast, crock pot chili, pot stickers, and pork pot pies. Now, I myself, I just spoke to one of the guys from the group who's still in San Francisco. He's lost his job and he's not able to afford pot right now, so he's smoking tumbleweed. You don't put it in a bong, you don't put it in a pipe, you roll it. I myself have stopped smoking pot and I've gone to edibles, but I have a feeling my suppliers are ripping me off. I get my edibles from Marie Callender's, KFC, and Hormel. And I've been eating chicken pot pies and corned beef hash for the last year and a half and haven't gotten high once. But I've put on 25 pounds. So, any Grateful Dead fans in the audience? Well, August 9th, as most of you know if you're a Grateful Dead fan, is the anniversary of Jerry Garcia's passing. And I went a couple months ago when the new version of the Grateful Dead, Dead and Company, played over at in Charlotte at the PNC. I saw my first Grateful Dead show in 1978, and a lot's changed in 40 years of seeing Dead shows. It used to be you walked around the parking lot and were able to score acid without having to look too hard. Now you see people walking around the parking lot trying to score antacid. That's how much we've aged. So Monday I turned 58. Thank you. And I celebrated my birthday by making 6 booty calls. Now don't get all excited, I was butt dialing the wrong people. So, I have a friend who has a daughter who's going to Colgate University, At Colgate, you don't get a diploma when you graduate, you get a plaque. The guy is not too bright, the father of the daughter. He thinks a colonoscopy prep is an elite boys' private school on the East Coast. Have you heard about corduroy pillows? They're making headlines. I have a friend who grew up, a black friend who grew up in our Jewish neighborhood in Los Angeles. He's done real well for himself, and he wants to get back to the black community. So he opened up a hair salon deli, and he calls it the Grateful Dreadlocks and Bagel. So I want to take my family to Turkey this Thanksgiving. We're not going to fly, we're going to go by gravy boat. So, you just got that, all right. I appreciate it. Some of these will come back to you, I'll come back to you in a couple minutes. So I'm just shaking a little, the medicine's kicking in, but don't worry, I'm okay. So, I almost didn't make it here tonight. I got pulled over by North Carolina's finest driving into the show. The police officer came to my window and he said, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" I said, "I have no idea." He goes, "You're going 10 miles an hour under the speed limit on the freeway." I said, "Well, I have Parkinson's, I drive slow." He goes, "You have Parkinson's and you drive?" I go, "I'm medically cleared, there's no problem with that." So he thought about it, and then he did something really weird. He didn't ask for my driver's license or registration. He asked if he could have my name. And I looked at him and I said, "You could, but that'd be a hell of a coincidence." He said, "Do you think you're a funny guy?" I said, "I'll know in an hour and a half at the Comedy Zone." I want to open up a firing range for men who've had vasectomy and call it Point Blank. Does anybody here know the history of pizza? Pizza, I was once a gourmet pizza chef in Los Angeles. And the family that brought over the first wood-burning pizza ovens was the place I was working in and getting mentored. And the great-grandfather was still alive, and he would come in and tell me stories about pizza. The one he told me was how it all began. And pizza started, according to this gentleman, one night Uncle Domino was closing up Pizza Hut. And he wasn't aware that Papa John and Mama Mia had snuck in through the back door. So when Uncle Domino left and locked the door, Papa John and Mama Mia jumped up on the round table and started fooling around. She started kneading his dough, and when it began to rise, Papa John stuffed her crust, and in 9 months they had a Little Caesar. I went to Hickory for my very first time. Great little community. Now I'm ready to go visit Dickory and Doc. So I have a new tailor. He's Japanese. The name of his tailor shop is Miso. Miso. All right, thank you very much. I have a friend who was so poor his parents were only able to afford urinal cakes for his birthday. They would ice them at least. So when I was smoking pot, I would keep it outdoors in my tool shed. That way nobody was able to find it in the house and smoke it. But I realized that every day I would go out to the tool shed, there would be missing pot in the bag. So I finally put a camera in the tool shed and figured out what had happened. The weed eater was going after the pot in So one should never take, is it just me, or does anybody else think it's weird we wash our hair with a product that has poo in its name? Shampoo? Nobody washes their hair here.
Ladies and gentlemen, please keep it going for